after 2:30, and we now have a quorum. I'm going to ask, because we have a new face today on our call, that if you wouldn't mind doing introductions to start. I'm Jessica Mortinger, Transportation Planning Manager for the Lawrence Douglas County Metropolitan Planning Organization.
Hello, I'm CC Riley, Transportation Planner 2 for the MPO.
I'm Michael Gentry. I am the Budget Analyst with the City of Eudora.
I can call on people. Jeff?
I'm Jeff Crick, City County Planning Director.
Margaretta?
Hello, my name is Margaretta DeFries. I'm at KU Transportation Services.
Will?
Hi everyone, I'm Will Sharp. I'm the Community Planner with the FHWA for the Kansas Division.
Adam?
Adam Weigel, Director of Transit for the City of Lawrence.
And Ryan?
Ryan Dowling, KDOT.
Okay.
Looks like
Yeah.
Chad just joined as well.
Oh.
Chad, we just got done with introductions. If you're available to introduce yourself. Chad Voigt, I believe, is the Director of Douglas County Public Works.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you for introductions today. Will is joining us as Federal Highway Liaison, and he's an ex officio non-voting member of this committee and new to his position. So I assume we'll see you sometimes, and if not, that's okay too. But Will's in the background reviewing our documents and process as one of our many partners.
Awesome. So, well, welcome, Will. And with that, we can go ahead and call the meeting to order. And then, Jessica, if you would like to go over meeting rules.
We have posted the notice in the call to order and are no longer going to read those out loud. So
Even better.
Okay.
That is perfect. And so do we still need to do a roll call?
no, we did a roll call. We have a quorum, and since you all introduced yourselves, we're good.
Perfect. Then we can move on to agenda item B, public comment. Is there anyone in person or virtual to make public comment?
No one has indicated in the room or online that they would like to provide public comment.
All right. Hearing none, then we'll move on to agenda item C, the approval of the minutes. Does anyone have any comments or questions on the July 9th, 2024 minutes? All right. If no one has any, then I will entertain a motion.
To approve the minutes.
Second.
All right. Motion and a second. Can we do a roll call?
Yeah, Crick,
Aye.
DeVries,
Aye.
Dowling,
Aye.
Gentry,
Aye.
Voigt,
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Great. Moving on to D, our actual agenda items for the day. The first one is a federal fiscal year for 2025 to 2028 transportation improvement program.
Thank you very much. Working on sharing my screen. Just 1 second. Did you already have it?
Yeah, but that's okay. It doesn't like that it's hidden.
Sorry, just a sec.
Yes, I know, it's, sorry. Did you do that? It's a bad placing.
Okay, attached to your agenda was a copy of the Transportation Improvement Program for fiscal years 2025 through 28. This we call the TIP. The TIP implements the Long Range Transportation Plan T2050. For projects to be included in the TIP, they must be consistent with T2050. This ensures projects are implementing the MPO's vision for a healthy, safe, and efficient transportation system which adequately serves Lawrence, Eudora, Baldwin City, Lecompton, and unincorporated areas of Douglas County. Whereas the last time we talked about the TIP in April, we were discussing an amendment to the previous TIP. This document is a totally new tip with new analysis of project locations as it relates to EJ zones, descriptions of how projects are funded in relationship to each other, and we've also identified how the projects in the tip align with the performance measures of T2050. I'm going to jump around just a little bit to show some of the highlights of the fiscal year 25 through 28 tip to show how these things look. So you should be seeing the map, figure 10 on page 35 of the tip in front of you. This shows the 8 projects in the EJ zones across the city of Lawrence in the various colors. There's a key at the bottom to indicate what the colors mean. But just to briefly describe, you can see the red project here in the middle is the Mass Street Multimodal project. At the bottom left side of your screen, you see the SLT K10 West Leg in the dark blue. And these are some of the areas in the EJ zones. Jessica, did you want to jump in any more about this? Okay. Jumping around again, on page 16, you'll see table 4. Here you can see the updated operations and maintenance anticipated funding across the MPO areas. Staff reached out to each of the different parties and cities and show the data that was received in this table. And then on page 21, you see a chart of, I think the top of the screen says, how are we doing? It outlines the 32 projects included in the tip and identifies which of the overarching goals within T2050 are being met. Some, like the Mass Street multimodal improvements or the various Lawrence bike and sidewalk projects and ADA ramps, promote all of the goals. Others have a more specific goal they're promoting, like the bridge repair in Douglas County. I'd also like to point out Appendix C in the tip shows the progress from the previous tip projects. So here we outline all the projects that were in the previous tip. It goes on for 2 pages that we've completed since the last tip, the 2023 to 26 tip was created. And as you can see, we've been successful in implementing and constructing quite a few projects over the last 3 years. And then on page 11, it outlines the amendment schedule we've proposed moving forward. The MPO will continue to do quarterly tip amendments or tip amendments whenever they're requested by our partners in order to maintain an orderly and up-to-date tip document. Our next amendment is scheduled to come back to the MPO TAC in March of next year. And then finally, I'd like to point out we received 2 public comments during the 30-day public comment period for the tip. These were included in your agenda packet. One was from a resident who was encouraging continuation to fund, improve, and expand the cycling infrastructure in Lawrence. The other was from the city's MSO division requesting that a project, tip number 519, be updated to indicate that it was constructed in 2025 rather than what was initially posted for 2024. Once we learned of tip 519's needed update, I went ahead and on the project website, lawrenceks.org/tip, updated that with a revised date. So we got that information out during the public comment, but it was not out for the entirety. The tip that's included in your agenda packet is the updated tip with 519 included as it was requested. I'd be happy to answer any questions or go into anything further in detail if you all would like.
Awesome, thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments? All right, sounds like we don't have any. And is there anyone from the public here to comment on this?
Will we be able to receive a PDF format or an actual copy of the agenda from the meeting?
Yeah, it's all posted on our website.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can make sure you have the link before you leave. There appear to be no one wanting to make public comment online or in person.
All right, well, with that said, I will go ahead and entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to approve.
But if there's so many, it's still expensive.
I'll second. Ryan Dowling.
All right, motion and a second. Can we please do a roll call vote?
Yeah, Crick,
Aye.
DeVries,
Aye.
Dowling,
I don't want to be like fall over and on to.
Aye.
Gentry,
Aye.
Voigt,
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
The motion carries 6-0.
Great. Moving on to our second agenda item, which is a discussion item on the 2025 safety target setting.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen, just a second. All right. We are in our annual process of preparing to draft our safety targets that are federally required. And what I've attached on the agenda for you is the draft documentation from our performance measures report, where we're at based on the 2023 crash data, and around summertime each year, the previous year's crash data closeout, we receive that data from KDOT. So we're going to be looking at each of the federally required performance measures. The first of which, for Lawrence and Douglas County, is the number of fatalities on all public roadways. And the total number for 2023 is 7, which puts the 5-year rolling average, which is the prescribed measure for this, at 10.2. That's a 0.2 increase over last year's 5-year rolling average. And so you can see that kind of direction of where we're going to be, that we estimate based on that where 2024 is looking at, and then where that puts us for the 2025 target. And so our, you can see in this estimate, maintaining kind of this baseline, once you get 5 years outside of this peak value of actual fatalities, where we think we'll be in that, and set a target of 8.3 for number of fatalities in the region. We have rate of fatalities per 100 million vehicle miles traveled. And we have an increase in our vehicle miles traveled that's calculated based on looking at our out-year projection in T2050, and dividing that by each of the years' increase for a linear projection. This is again a rate, so it's kind of hard to see. You can see over time, based on the blue line, where that rate has fallen. And then the red is the 5-year average of that. So it averages out the annual peaks, and we've seen an increase in the a 0.3 increase in the target. However, the larger rate increase that was seen in 2020, same as the fatalities, and that we'll look at once that, if we look at that, estimating that based on where we're headed in the direction, if that averages out and falls off, a target of 0.78 for 2025. When we're looking at this for number 11, it's number of serious injuries, and our you can see what's happened here in the total number of serious injuries. We show this table on all of these, I forgot to mention, for informational purposes. So this shows basically the jurisdiction that owns the roadway of which the crash occurred upon, and this is for local information. Of course, the countywide number is the number that's federally reported. So we've seen an increase in our 5-year rolling average based on the addition of the 2023 data. And we're looking at that trend then of over time to see that continuing to happen, and have a 36.9 target for 2025. The rate of serious injuries per 100 million VMT follows a similar trend, where we've seen an increase from last year's 5-year rolling average to this year's rolling average, and projected increase of that in the trend. We're going at 3.51. And then the last of the 5 measures is the number of non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries. And we saw 6 of those, in 2023. And that rolling average is also increasing, and as such, we see over time the trend of that is an upward trend in serious injury and fatality crashes, and so the 2025 target is 5.6. We went to look at where we were now that 2023 has closed out and looking at the 5-year rolling targets that include 2023 data. The top chart shows the rolling targets that we've set each year. And this bottom is the actual 5-year rolling targets based on the crash data that we've collected from KDOT. You can see for the measures 9 and 10, so fatalities and fatalities per 100 million VMT, that we are below the targets we originally set for 2023. And for all of the others, both serious injuries, the rate of serious injuries, and non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries, we are above target. We are above the targets, and so targets were not met in those ranges. And you'll see in the years kind of after that, that our increasing targets in those spaces have saw those trends and are anticipating, based on either increasing VMT or just trends of fatalities and serious injuries, now that we have a growing collection of years of data and targets to see kind of where we're at. So we're showing that in terms of that sense. We have these conversations. These targets are merely our projection based on what's happening in this range. And we have admittedly had conversations about our safety work before in the region, recognizing that with the lack of a Vision Zero safety action plan, that we desire improved safety beyond the target. However, we can't make projections outside of what we felt was these historical trends without really targeting safety as an approach for project prioritization and selection. And so we're anticipating and hoping through our Vision Zero efforts to make increasing efforts in these spaces around fatalities and serious injuries with that planning process. I'd be happy to entertain any questions you may have. I will say that this point in the process, we release these targets for a 15-day public comment period, and they will come back before you in November for a recommendation of approval to send to MPO Policy Board. Any thoughts, questions, comments, discussion?
All right. Nobody has something? All right. Well, then, thank you, Jessica. Looks like we can move on to item E for some quick updates. The first is the Vision Zero Transportation Safety Action Plan.
Yes, thank you. We just wanted to share with you, we're moving along in our process of Vision Zero safety action planning, and our next public meeting is October 14th, a public open house at the library, the Lawrence Public Library, and then we will be doing some additional tabling in Baldwin City and in Eudora, which we're working on finalizing the plans for those, and we'll post them also on the website. And then the second item on this, and just to let you know that the 2025 Unified Planning Work Program, our transportation planning work program for the MPO, is out for public comment from October 1st to the 31st, and this will also come before you in November for your consideration and recommendation of approval to the policy board. I'd be happy to entertain questions about either item.
Does anyone have anything? All right, well, it sounds like that'll wrap up our meeting for today. It looks like the next meeting set for this board is currently planned to be November 5th, 2024. So thank you all for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
This meeting is on YouTube, so you can watch it